I'm Alex, your guide through the labyrinth of friendship, betrayal, and life's unpredictable twists. Sometimes you have to learn when to say I do, and when to say, I'm out of here. Today in the insightful tales, life's a sitcom, and sometimes you're just an unwilling guest star. Sometimes you get a lap dance you didn't ask for. Up first, a story of friendship, betrayal, and the high cost of saying I do literally. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my friend's wedding because she uninvited me? Okay, so here's the deal. My friend, let's call her Sarah, and I have been tight since high school. We've been through everything together. Breakups, makeups, you name it. So when she got engaged, I was over the moon for her. Fast forward to a few months before the wedding. Sarah sends out the invitations, and I'm psyched to RSVP. But then, out of nowhere, she texts me saying that she's had to cut down the guest list due to budget constraints, and unfortunately, I didn't make the cut. I was devastated. I get that weddings are expensive and all, but to uninvite me after we've been friends for so long? Ouch. Fast forward again to the wedding day. I see all these photos on social media and it looks like a fairy tale. But here's the kicker. Sarah texts me later that week, asking for money to help cover the cost of the wedding. They went over budget, and she's asking all the guests who didn't attend to chip in. I was floored. Not only did she uninvite me, but now she expects me to foot the bill for a wedding I didn't even get to go to. I told her, no way, I refuse to pay a single dime. But now she's saying I'm being selfish and unsupportive. Am I the a-hole here, Reddit? Or is Sarah out of line for expecting me to pay for her mistake? Ask for an opinion from the community, and you're going to get it. Here it is. No, you're not. Asking for money, especially from people who didn't get invited, is one of the most absurd things I've ever heard in my entire life. The OP was not the a-hole, based on the comments. And here's some additional information from the OP, more context. This happened about a week ago, and I tried talking to her about it again. She relented that the two had been having financial struggles, and this time she respected my not wanting to pay for her wedding. However, she still wants me to consider helping out in other ways, like pitching in for the honeymoon or contributing to future expenses. I appreciate that she's acknowledging her financial difficulties, but it still feels like she's trying to guilt-trip me into footing the bill for her wedding in some form or another. I'm torn because, on the one hand, I want to be supportive and help her out during a tough time, but on the other hand, I can't shake off the feeling that I'm being taken advantage of. I'm not sure how to proceed from here. Should I continue to stand my ground and refuse any further financial involvement? Or should I try to find a compromise that works for both of us? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get a couple of relevant comments. First up, not the a-hole. I hope you know you are. I would stop this friendship entirely, send her a few laughing emoticons and gifts, and then block her. One of the tackiest things I have ever heard. The OP replies, thank you for your support and understanding. It's been a roller coaster of emotions dealing with this situation. To add a bit more context, Sarah and I have always been there for each other, so her decision to uninvite me caught me off guard. I tried to rationalize it, thinking maybe she was under a lot of stress or pressure to cut costs, but it still hurt nonetheless. I don't want to cut her off, as she helped me through some tough times. Is there anything else I can do in this situation? Someone else chimes in. Okay, reality check please. Who, being an adult and in their right mind, expects other people to pay for their luxuries? Mind you, a wedding, guests, honeymoon, whatever it is not a necessity, it's a luxury. You have to budget, and if you can't budget, why the hell should other people pay for that? Would she pay for your vacation so you can have some fun because you're tired from work? No, what's the difference? That's just crazy. She shows you zero respect and zero care for your feelings and is just trying to use and guilt-trip you. And she threw you out of her wedding and still feels it's okay to ask you for money like you're a doormat. That's just a whole behavior. It's very selfish to care about your well-being instead of catering to other people's expensive wants. Yes, you may tell her you're very selfish and you shouldn't be friends. Enjoying the story so far? Show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Now, let's dive back into the story. The OP replies, thank you for your reality check. You're right. Expecting others to pay for luxuries like weddings and honeymoons is unreasonable, especially when it comes at the expense of someone's feelings and boundaries. It's been a tough pill to swallow, realizing that Sarah may not value our friendship as much as I thought she did. The fact that she uninvited me from her wedding and then tried to guilt-trip me into covering expenses feels like a betrayal of trust. I've come to realize that I need to prioritize my well-being and not allow myself to be taken advantage of. It's clear that Sarah's behavior is selfish and disrespectful, and I shouldn't feel obligated to cater to her expensive whims at my own expense. It's going to be hard, but I think it's time to reevaluate this friendship and set some boundaries moving forward. Your words have given me the clarity and confidence to stand my ground. Thank you for your support. Wow, cutting down the guest list and then passing around the collection plate to those she asked, expecting them to cough up some loose change? Who wouldn't want to contribute to that happily ever after? After all, what are friends for if not to cover the cost of someone else's budgeting blunders? Sarah, count me in for the honeymoon suite upgrade and the silverware for your future dinner parties. It's the least I can do for the privilege of not attending your wedding. This is unbelievable. You are not the a-hole here. It's almost sick to think that you're even questioning yourself here. She shouldn't have planned a wedding that was beyond her means. Update the next day. Hey everyone, OP here with an update about refusing to pay for my friend's wedding because she uninvited me. Firstly, I want to express my gratitude to all 700 plus of you who took the time to read my story and offer your thoughts. Your support and perspectives have been invaluable during this challenging time. Since my last update, there have been some significant developments. Sarah saw the post and confronted me. Things got heated, there was yelling, emotions ran high, and in the end, I made the difficult decision to go no contact with Sarah. While it was a tough choice to make, I realized that the toxicity in our relationship had reached a point where it was no longer healthy for either of us. Despite my initial hopes of reconciliation, it became clear that certain underlying issues in our friendship needed to be addressed and resolved before any meaningful progress could be made. Going no contact was not a decision I made lightly, but rather one born out of necessity for my own well-being and mental health. It's never easy to distance yourself from someone you care about, but sometimes it's necessary for personal growth and healing. I want to thank everyone once again for their support and encouragement throughout this journey. Your words have been a source of strength and comfort during a challenging time in my life. Moving forward, I'm focused on prioritizing self-care and surrounding myself with positive influences. While it's sad to say goodbye to a friendship that once meant so much to me, I'm hopeful that this decision will ultimately lead to greater happiness and fulfillment in the long run. Thank you all for being a part of my story and for your unwavering support. Sorry, no laughing SL clown emojis. And let's get one relevant comment from the community. Yeah, if you handed that out, you'd be a massive a-hole. Sorry about having to go with no contact, but it seems like it was the only way forward to keep yourself sane. Best of luck. The OP replies, it hurts because she helped me when I was battling depression and low on money, but thank you for your understanding and support. It wasn't an easy decision to go no contact, but sometimes it's necessary for self-preservation. Your words mean a lot to me, and I appreciate your well wishes. Here's to prioritizing our mental health and moving forward towards a brighter future. Take care. It should have been the easiest choice of your life, OP. It was ridiculous of her to ask you and anybody else she kicked off to the curb. What's hard is finding out a friend isn't a friend at all. I mean, she invites all those people, and you don't cut. You weren't as close as you thought you were, OP. What do you make of this? What would you have done? Next up, the undeniable tension of a love triangle gone wrong. Am I the a-hole for leaving a dinner party after a girl sat on my husband's lap? I am still so shaken by everything. So sorry for my rambling. My husband Dante and I have been married for 3 years, and from the beginning, he was very close with his best friend's sister, Chloe, 18 female. Well, my husband would often talk about her and how he had seen her grow up throughout the years. Chloe is always very bubbly and seems very fond of Dante as well. I remember when we were dating, she would ask to come along on our dates a lot, and everyone said anything, as I liked spending time with her as well. She was like a little sister to me. When we announced her engagement, she asked my husband to better not forget her after being a married man, and to still hang out with her. Well, we got married, and I even made her my bridesmaid. Soon we moved to a different state and kind of lost contact. Now Dante's best friend came to stay with us for some time, and Chloe came along as well. Now, the moment she saw us, the first thing she said was how hot my husband had gotten, and she was glad he didn't look like those boring married men. Then, throughout their stay, Chloe would just ignore my presence and would be way too close to Dante. Told Dante that it was looking a bit inappropriate and to ask Chloe to tone it down, but he said that Chloe is just a bit childish and is that way with everybody. Well, on their last day, we decided to host a dinner party for everybody. During the party, I was with Dante when Chloe came and told me, "Oh, I need to steal your husband for a while." And before I could say something, she grabbed Dante's hand and took him to play games. I ignored it since it was her last day. But then, throughout the dinner, she was getting way too close to Dante and would just drag him away whenever I was around while giggling at me. When everybody sat for dinner, I sat beside Dante and Chloe came last. She then said, "Oh, there's no seat," and then just went and sat on my husband's lap. Everybody was surprised and Dante said, laughing, "Chloe, stop acting like a kid. You are not a kid anymore." Chloe started laughing, saying it was a joke, and got up and sat on the other seat while giggling at me. Yeah, I was so angry with the disrespect and with the fact that Dante was so cool with it. But I didn't want to say anything bad, so I excused myself, took my car, and went out. About 1 hour later, Dante called me, asking where I was. I told him I was going to my friend's house and I would come after Chloe had left. I know what I did was terrible, but I was so angry at the time that if I had stayed there any longer, I would have probably started fighting or crying. I came the next day, and Chloe and her family had left. Dante was very pissed and said I took things too far. I started crying and told him how everything made me feel. He said it was horrible to think such things about Chloe and that she was like his sister. I told him that I was not doubting his intentions, but I was hurt by how disrespectful Chloe's behavior was, and he was enabling her by not saying anything. He started saying that I sounded ridiculous and couldn't even take a joke, referring to the sitting on the lap incident. I said, regardless, I don't want her in my house again. To top it off, Chloe sent a message saying that she was sorry about making me so insecure and that she would make sure to make me feel better, but I should not have left as it was pretty childish and kind of spoiled the mood. It felt so backhanded. I didn't reply to her. I just told my husband he needs to maintain a distance from Chloe. He asked if I was giving him an ultimatum. I said if he would go as far as to disregard and disrespect my feelings for Chloe, this really rubbed my husband the wrong way. And he said since I had such disgusting thoughts in my mind and was giving him an ultimatum anyway, then he might as well leave because he cannot live with such an insecure person who has such disgusting thoughts about him. He packed a bag and left for his mother's place. I've tried apologizing numerous times, telling him how sorry I am for everything, but he's ignoring my texts and calls. Later, Chloe's brother texted me and called me a bunch of names, saying Dante should just leave me and a disgusting person like me deserves to be alone. I could not stop crying after that. I don't know how to fix this. Is there a way to even come back? Was I so wrong to deserve this? I don't know anymore. Edit. People who are asking our ages, we are 25 years old, just months apart. Chloe's charming antics, like a game of how far can I push it before someone snaps, really add that special spice to the story. And kudos to Dante for playing the role of the oblivious husband with such finesse. His refusal to acknowledge the blatant disrespect and his swift exit stage ties the whole narrative together. Bravo, Dante, for proving that when the going gets tough, well, pack your bags and go to mom's house. Who needs a husband when you've got a front row seat to the Chloe and Dante show? Enjoying the story so far? Show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's dive back into the story. Update. Thank you all for responding and people who gave me good advice and personal messages. I couldn't read all the comments, but now I know my feelings are valid and boundaries were crossed by Chloe. Now, during the dinner, there was Chloe, her brother Ryan, his girlfriend, and their cousin Derek, also a good friend of my husband with his boyfriend. So I called Derek and asked about the situation and what happened after I left. He was sympathetic and said that after I left at first, they thought I would come back after some time. However, things were awkward. But when I didn't come back, Ryan told Chloe that she was so disrespectful for doing that. Derek and his boyfriend also said the same thing. To this, Chloe started crying, saying they didn't have to corner her and attack her over a silly joke that she didn't know would get so out of hand. She then left the room while crying. Dante didn't know what to say, and everybody left early. The next day, Derek also told me that Chloe has always had issues with boundaries, and when he introduced his boyfriend to everybody, Chloe would get too close and would joke that she was just checking if he was gay. They were uncomfortable with it as well. So Derek confronted her, to which Chloe rolled her eyes and said they couldn't take a joke and eventually stopped. This all sounds so bizarre. I don't know what's going on with Chloe. Ryan's girlfriend also texted me saying she was sorry for what happened. I told her how Ryan's message was inappropriate, but she had no idea about the text. So I sent her a screenshot and asked her to tell Ryan not to harass me again. She was very apologetic and said she would talk to him. Now, my mother-in-law called and asked what was going on, as Dante didn't tell her and only said we argued. I was a bit hesitant to tell, but eventually told everything. She was furious at my husband. She said they would be coming to talk, so yeah, I'm just waiting for them to arrive and nervous. I don't know if what I did was right or wrong, but we will see. As for people saying my husband is some pedophile or they are having an affair, I know this is furthest from the truth. I never questioned his intentions, but what hurt me was the lack of respect from Chloe towards me. Now, for a couple of relevant comments. First up, you said other people at the party just stared. Am I mistaken, and no one said anything to either of you? The OP replies, precisely. Chloe, her brother, and his girlfriend, their cousin with his boyfriend, were present. It wasn't a big dinner, and when it happened, everybody did get silent, but as my husband laughed it off, they didn't say anything either. But I guess they saw I was not okay, so things were awkward. I don't know what happened after I left. Maybe they said something to Chloe or not. I was so overwhelmed with everything, I didn't want to talk about it anymore. Someone else chimes in. They all just watched Chloe try marking her territory on your husband. That's disgusting. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. I'm not sure what you do next. Best wishes and hugs sent your way. One more person says, do you have any connection with the brother's girlfriend? Maybe it's not a good idea, but I'm just wondering if it's worth texting her to ask. Am I crazy? She was being inappropriate, right? Just trying to get another outsider's perspective. But I don't know the relationship you have with her that could make things worse. I think you're not the a-hole for sure. Your husband should take your side over his own family, let alone a girl clearly with him who he claims to see as a sister. The OP replies, I was so overwhelmed with everything and just so embarrassed that I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. But now I will reach out to other people who were there and ask them about what happened after I left and what they think of the situation. Chloe's tearful exit stage left, Ryan's obliviousness, and Tyler's tales of her boundary-breaking escapades. It's like a dysfunctional family sitcom on steroids. Nothing says fun family dinners like baseless accusations and awkward silences. You didn't do anything wrong here, OP. Whether he considers Chloe his sister or not, her behavior isn't appropriate at all. You're his wife. That should come before all else. Update, March 12, 2024. For people who are still asking me about the update in private messages, my mother-in-law came with my husband, and well, the talk happened. There were a lot of things, but I will try to summarize them. Dante apologized to me first and tried to explain his point of view. He said that he was angry because A, I left without saying anything for the whole night when he was trying to just diffuse the situation and tried to laugh it off because it was so awkward. He didn't know what else to do, but instead of communicating, I just left him in that weird situation. He was meeting his friends after such a long time, and I just wanted the dinner to be peaceful. Chloe was going back anyway, and we would most likely never meet her again. B. He acknowledged Chloe was indeed overstepping boundaries, but he didn't know how to bring it up since he was seeing her growing up, and she is like a little sister to him. Also, she acts like that with everyone. He thought that it was just for a few days, and he wanted no drama during their stay, so he would just brush it off. He did acknowledge he was wrong for not saying anything. See, he was already really worried and sad because of how I just left without explanations. Even after I came, Not once did I ask how he felt. He was also very overwhelmed with everything and felt I was accusing him of not doing anything when he pushed her off as politely as possible when she tried to sit. He felt I was attacking his character and even gave him an ultimatum, which made him so mad as he felt I thought less of him. It wasn't about Chloe, but about how easy it was for me to question his sincerity. He said that after that dinner, he was going to have extremely close contact with her anyway. He apologized for not speaking up about the disrespect Chloe was showing towards me and for also leaving like that. Then, after Dante said everything, their mother-in-law explained to Dante about the situation from her perspective. She scolded him a lot as well. In short, she told him that as a husband, it was his responsibility to make me feel like I was his priority, and that he disappointed me the moment I had to come to him to ask to establish boundaries. As a husband, it was his duty that I never would have to come to him about this in the first place. She also asked him how he would have felt had it been a guy on my lap, and he had no answer to it. She told him how what I did was an eruption of suppressed feelings, and as a husband, it was his duty to go after me and never let me leave in the first place. There were a lot of things said by her, and Dante seemed to realize and sincerely apologize for his actions. She told him if he ever pulled such a stunt again, then do not expect her to take him in. Later, she took me for a walk. It was just the two of us, and there she explained some things to me as well. She said that she was sorry for everything, but said that even at her house, Dante was distraught. He didn't tell her because he most likely knew he was wrong too, but was overwhelmed about everything as well. She said she, in no way, was excusing her son's behavior, but would hope that I would forgive him. She also said that in no circumstance did I need to leave my house, as it was my house and my family. She said I shouldn't be afraid of speaking my mind if anything makes me uncomfortable, and to talk to her if Dante does something stupid again, and she will set him straight. She hoped we would work it out since Shad had seen our love for each other, and it would be sad to see us split up due to some disrespectful brain words. She said she could not have any in our issues, but suggested that we should get counseling to understand each other better. She even brought ice cream for me. I know it's a bit childish, but she said sweet things worked as a charm when people are upset. And well, she was right. Well, it was awkward at night. Dante came to our room and we didn't know what to say. After a while, we talked and both apologized to each other. However, I did tell him that I was angry at him for telling everything to Ryan and was deeply hurt by the text he sent me. He said he didn't know what I was talking about, and I showed him the texts. He said he didn't tell Ryan about our fight and only told him that he was at Mom's place. He called Ryan, and well, it turns out Ryan told Chloe and told her how she went too far at the party. Then Chloe made up a huge story about how I was passive-aggressive with her the whole time, how I would always try to question her character and act insecure and jealous. She even went on to say that I was always like that with her even when she was a kid, and that I never liked her and always tried to manipulate people into thinking I was an angel while she was... Well, that made him angry to think how I have been treating Chloe, and he sent those texts. Dante and I were baffled by such accusations, and he tried to explain to Ryan how it wasn't true, but then Dante just let it be and decided to have no contact with Chloe and extremely low contact with Ryan. Dante apologized again, and we just cuddled and slept. Well, Chloe is out of our lives for good now, and we have decided to go to counseling for better communication in the future. Let's see how everything goes in the future, but yeah, we are not getting divorced. I know a lot of you people wanted me to show Dante this post, but he was so sad and got scolded a lot already, so I decided not to show him for now. Maybe in the future. Sorry for all this rambling. Have a good day, people. First, we have Dante apologizing left, right, and center for his lack of boundary setting and general cluelessness. But hey, credit where credit's due. At least he's making an effort to right his wrongs, even if it took a good scolding from dear old mom to knock some sense into him. Not only that, but your mother-in-law gave you some solid advice, OP. She was right about not being afraid to speak your mind and standing up for yourself. And face it, it's your house. You hold the power there. And by leaving, I guess Chloe could have considered that a win. And let's not forget Chloe's dramatic exit, complete with accusations of childhood vendettas and shaming. Bravo, Chloe. You've truly outdone yourself this time. You're right to keep your distance from her and her brother. What are your thoughts on OP's husband? Was she right to leave? Thanks for watching. How did you find the story? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more awesome stories like this. Your feedback and support mean a lot.